Week 25, the eternal now. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. When will I find God? Many devotees have asked this question. Because worldly goals require time, usually for their fulfillment, we imagine time to be a factor on the spiritual path. And so it is, but only because we think it is. God is as much with us now as he will ever be. It is not he who needs to come to us. We need to come to him. And that process of coming is a matter of transforming our self-perception. In the Gospel of St. John, chapter 4, Jesus Christ says, "Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest? Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest." There is a practical teaching in these words, apart from their statement that we have God already, and have only to realize that truth. Jesus is saying, lift up your eyes and look. To hold the eyes uplifted is the best position for meditation. For the seat of superconsciousness lies at a point midway between the eyebrows, in the frontal lobe of the brain just behind that point. This point is known also as the Christ Center. By lifting up your eyes and concentrating there, you will find it easier to enter the state of ecstasy. That is why saints in every religion have often been observed during states of deep inner communion with their eyes uplifted, focused on the inner light, white, as Jesus said, all ready to harvest. The Bhagavad Gita goes on further in this meditative teaching. In the sixth chapter, it states, holding the spine firm, the neck and head erect and motionless, let the yogi focus his eyes at the starting place of the nose, the point between the eyebrows. Let not his gaze roam elsewhere. In meditation, tell yourself, I have him already. I am alive forever in the divine light. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
This morning's reading from Whispers from Eternity, number 34. Make me thy butterfly of eternity. I have burnt my past, destroying every seed of evil destiny. I have stridden bravely through the strewn ashes of my past and future fears. I am the eternal now, having torn to shreds my enclosing cocoon of ignorance with the sharp knife of free will. Now I am thy soaring butterfly of eternity, flitting freely through immeasurable skies of time. The beauty of my wings I spread out through nature everywhere to entertain all beings. My wings are sprinkled with suns and stardust. Lo, I am beautiful. My every silken thread that shrouded my past folly be severed forever. See, they trail now behind me, only adding to my beauty as I wing my way to my own self in thee. So I remember one of the first books that I read that planted me pretty solidly on the spiritual path. I had already been doing meditation, TM. In high school, I did that. I figured if it was good enough for the Beatles, it was good enough for me. No, I was seriously interested in these things, and it wasn't just because I was a Beatles fan. But I read Ram Dass's book, Be Here Now, and I remember reading it in one sitting, and uh, I was vegetarian overnight, and it changed my life. And from there, I knew it wasn't my path, and Neem Karoli Baba was not my guru, but it just opened um, some great doorways for me. And within, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, I was living at Ananda Village and had found Yogananda and these powerful teachings. So just that simple, I love the title, Be Here Now. It kind of, it sums it all up. We not be in the past with our regrets and our failures and even our successes, um, and not in the future with our hopes and dreams and our fears and aspirations and plans. Um, I have a little saying on my dashboard in my car in California, and it's a quote of Swami Kriyananda. I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future filled with inner joy. So that is a constant reminder to me to not be living in the past and not be holding on to things. And as for the future, I love that saying, man plans, God laughs. And it's not that we just kind of sit as a blob and wait for life to come at us, but it's more a sense of detachment. And of course, we have to put out energy, but we can't live in the future or the past. It's only in this moment right now where we can feel God's presence. And truly, when we are in meditation, in those moments, as it said in the reading with the Bhagavad Gita, with our spine erect and our focus at the point between the eyebrows, that is where we need to be, even if we can't be in meditation, to be in that space as much as possible. Um, I remember Swami Kriyananda would often say he did not want anything to disturb his inner peace, his peace of mind. And so he was very conscious of that. And I've had a little experience with that. As soon as I got back here to Italy, I had someone staying in my house. And I'd had another friend pack up all my belongings that, seemed like they could be damaged by a single mother and her two young children. Um, and it was fine. I was grateful to have somebody living there because, as you may know, I wasn't there for a year and a half. I was in the US, and so now I came back to Italy about 3.5 weeks ago, and I actually moved into a different place, and I'm letting that person stay there where I was. But I moved all my, stuff, and I was unpacking a garbage bag full of clothes, and there was the beautiful French cotton quilt with lavender on it that I had bought on a trip to Provence, France. And, it's not that I'm really immersed and attached into material things. I mean, for many years, I lived in a teepee. I lived very simply. I got all my things at the secondhand store, and that was fine. But sometimes you just want to have a thing of beauty, and so you think, okay, I'm going to invest some money in this. So as I was getting it out of the bag, I saw a big blue blotch of hard stuff, and I sent her a picture. I said, I can't seem to get this off it looks like nail polish. And she said, it is nail polish. So I found myself, my sense of peace was disturbed, definitely. I battled with this. I was like, what was she thinking? Sitting on my beautiful quilt and doing her nails on it, you know. And then I realized, you know, it took me longer than I would have liked, I have to admit. But it's like, oh, it's just a thing. It's going to be ashes in, you know, soon, or in some amount of years, and so will I. And who cares about that thing? What remains is my love and appreciation for this particular friend. And yes, we don't always do things the right way, you know. I mean, if it had been me, maybe I would have thought to put a towel on there first, but you know, it's okay. But it just really was striking to me is how much it bothered me, because it was like, doesn't you know that's just priceless? It wasn't priceless, but it was €100 or something, you know, but that beautiful cotton quilt. Anyway, I just say that because trying to be in the moment and not worry about the past or the future, it takes a lot of concentration. We have to catch ourselves. We have to, you know, be aware of these places where we get triggered, and and then we move on. We're not perfect. We're working on it. This last year and a half almost has been quite an interesting journey of staying in the moment with COVID. Um, It's been devastating for many people. Um, and, you know, people have felt separation and from loved ones and losing loved ones. And it's also been a time to, I mean, what can we do? We can't plan. We don't, at least a year ago, you know, can't really plan the future because who knows? At least I'm thinking of, you know, now things feel a little more secure, but I have to say that I don't know if we're really out of the water. It seems like, you know, this happened and something else will probably come down the line and test us. So I don't have any sense of false security. It's more just the realization that, um, you know, anything could happen at any moment. We can't really um, find our security um, in this world or in the future. We just have to come back to our centers and allow God to unfold our lives as they may. Other interesting thing about COVID, as devastating as it was, we've also had this amazing sense of connection because of Zoom, really, and this Dwapara technology. Um, the other day, I have these sing-alongs twice a week, and the other day we had two people from India, someone from the Netherlands, I was in Italy, someone was in Canada, two people were in Canada, someone was in Georgia, someone else was in Rhode Island. And I just marveled at the little Hollywood squares there and how we're connected in this timeless way here in the moment. Um, and thousands of miles apart, some of us, you know, in some cases 12 time zones apart, and yet we're able to feel that, we're here for this moment. We are feeling the joy and the presence of God through the music that we were singing. And it just felt like an international community. It was a beautiful thing. So there's this is I want to read this passage from a letter that was published a few years ago from another Ananda center, and it's about this reading. In the reading for this week, The Eternal Now, Swami Kriyananda advises to tell yourself during meditation, I have him already, and that God is as much with us now as he ever will be. Paramhansa Yogananda said similarly that self-realization is the knowing in every part of body, mind, and soul that you are in possession of the kingdom of God, that you don't need to pray that it come to you, that God's omnipresence is your omnipresence, and all you have to do is improve your knowing. So how do we improve our knowing? We can read inspiring books and repeat affirmations. We can chant, we can pray, we can serve, we can do all these things that remind us of God. But most importantly, we need to make time in our lives for the most important appointment that we can ever have, and that is to commune inwardly with God through meditation or focusing on one of the aspects of God, which are love, peace, joy, wisdom, sound, light, calmness, and power. So whenever you have a glimpse of one of those qualities, become absorbed in it and try to realize your oneness with that quality. Just become one with it. And these things will help if we start to see little messages throughout our day, throughout our lives. And the more and more we are aware of that, then that's the improving of our knowing. Intellectually, we know this. God is with us now. I'm not feeling God right now. I'm feeling kind of ticked off that this person put nail polish on my special comforter. But move on from that and then realize that we're improving. We are improving. We're not perfect. We wouldn't be here if we were. And so it's self-awareness. It's being conscious of this power and energy that is flowing through the plants and the trees and the rivers and the mountains and the flowers and the animals and in our loved ones and in the wind and the rain, and just take a moment to be in those moments. And this is why I sang that song of St. Francis at the beginning, because I'm going to find the passage that struck me. Father, now that I wander with thee, Father, now that I am in your presence, flowers and fields are alive with thy joy. All that I owned to thee I've given. Now I sing, in thy love I am free. Father, now that I dance in thy name, birds and animals share in my song. All my sorrows, all my merriment, join in music to set hearts aflame. And likewise, the other song that I sang is Join the Heavens, another passage. Leave home in the sunshine, dance through a meadow, or sit by a stream and just be. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. So it's quite easy. We have so many tools, and we may get discouraged at times because it just seems a little overwhelming, especially if we are in a discouraged place for a little too long. That can get old. But we just have to persevere. Let nothing disturb you, nothing affright you. All things will pass. God changes not. Patient endurance attaineth to all. So I want to quote Sister Gyanamata, who actually, I believe that I remember hearing that she was Saint Teresa in a previous lifetime. I may have that wrong, so I'm going to check up on that. It just occurred to me as I'm quoting Sister Gyanamata. I thought, wait, is that Saint Teresa of Avila? Or so she was Yogananda's most highly evolved um, woman follower, and she had spent her life as a mother and a wife and serving her husband. And at the end of her life, she moved to Mount Washington, where Yogananda's ashram was in Southern California, and she really became a saint. And so she also had, I mean, this is how she became a saint too, is her attitude towards life. She had tremendous pain in her body, and but she didn't pray for the pain to be taken away. She prayed instead for the strength to to be able to deal with the pain. And this is one of her quotes: "Lord, change no circumstance of my life, but change me." So when we have the ability to see that everything comes from God, um, when we see that it's Divine Mother is play. I remember Swami saying that, um, think of your tests and trials. This is not a direct quote, as coming from Divine Mother, and it's a gift because it allows us to work off our karma. And I mean, if we had an easy life, uh, you know, that would be pleasant, and I'm sure we do. We say, okay, next time. That last one was a real doozy. I think next time I'm gonna, be on the beach for the whole time and just chill. That's okay. We need time to rest, but we can't stay idle or sedentary or passive or just blotto for too long. We have more important things to do, and um, but if we have the strength of the warrior to fight the battle, to accept our circumstances, and all the while feeling that we're not attached, we're not really in this, we're just actors in this dream, in this play, and we we will find that inner joy and that inner happiness, inner peace of mind, contentment. We'll find that those are living with us more and more until we become like Sister Gyanamata, who by the end of her life, had no identification with her body, and she just was a vessel of light and joy, and it will happen. So just continue to meditate, continue to sing, read inspiring books, hang out with inspiring people, and you will find more and more that you are one of those people that are a light in the world for other people. And you don't even know it. You're just a shining example of God's presence because you've been practicing day after day, minute after minute, weeks, months, years. We'll all get there.